Bonjour, bonjour. Oui, la France, pourquoi pas? So yes, why not France? You always hear me talking about how I would love to move to France, and I have a specific video where I talk about the 10 reasons why I would make France our move abroad destination. But today I wanted to counter that video to talk about why France would not work for us. When I talk about France, I'm mostly talking about Paris, even though I could also talk about Lyon or Montpellier, which are cities further south that I visited and that I also enjoyed as well. But every time I go back, it's mostly to stay in the Paris area. Okay, so take that into consideration when I talk about the reasons why France would not work much for us. Okay, so one thing that I love about France is the public transportation, the fact that everything is so connected and that you have reliable, unless there's a strike, but reliable transportation that works well, that goes everywhere, blah, 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 right? And so this is all well and good, right? If you have a schedule, if you know where to go, and you're on the go and you go and you get there. However, with a big family like ours with 4 kids, it's not the best thing. I'm not going to say that I'm a germaphobe. However, kids touch everything. Kids touch everything. And I don't know, the idea of having the kids in public transportation, maybe because we have not done that a lot. So I'm like, I don't know, right? So I don't know. I just don't like the idea because I feel like it's going to add more stress than the comfort of having your car and going from one point A to point B, right? So that's something that could be a little chaotic or it could work pretty well, right? Because last time I was there, my friend had her son who is, how old was he then? I think he was like 6, 7, 6, 7. He was maybe 6 or 7 years old. And, we took the metro together and everything. And he was pretty cool and comfortable with it. And I mean, it's just one kid, I have 4. So it could still work. I don't know. But that's point number 1. Point number 2 is because France is known not to be very business friendly. France is known, I think they tax you 50%. So it's not the most business friendly when it comes to entrepreneurship. It's not the most business friendly country to have to run your own business. So as a business owner, I feel some type of way about that. And that's why a lot of French entrepreneurs just leave because it's just too much tax. I think it's 50%, but I have to look it up. Yeah, that's just too much. Yeah. Number 3 is impact on community. One of the reasons why going to an African country is important to us is because of impact. It's just like when you work for a Fortune 500 company and you're just one piece of the big machine and you don't feel like what you're doing every day has an impact to the end customer, right? And so living in a country that is economically advanced, that has all the infrastructure, that has everything, and pretty much everything's pretty much done, and you don't feel like you're contributing much to the development of the country, sure, you can contribute to like maybe the homeless population or orphans or work with a church or, social projects like that. And that's great, right? It's great to do that. But if you're looking for bigger impacts, a country like France doesn't need it. They don't need diaspora to contribute in any way. They're fine, right? And so that's one of the reasons why for somebody who wants to have a social economic impact in the environment, in the community where I moved to, other than my rent money, I don't know in other way that I'm contributing to French society. Yes, in my taxes, but what else, right? So yeah, that's another reason why it doesn't make it super attractive to me to move to France. Number 4, and this one is very, very important to us moms, it's affordable support at home. Yes, you can have support at home anywhere in the world. You can have a nanny, you can have a chef, you can have a driver, you can have everything that you want. You can have it anywhere in the world. However, is it affordable? Can you afford it? Maybe not. Even though talking with my friends in Paris, we were comparing prices. And yes, it sounded very, very expensive for like childcare sounds very, very expensive. But at the same time, there are a lot of programs that are taken care of by the city. Here in the US, most kids will go to private soccer practice, private swim schools, or everything's like private, 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 right? And we pay like hundreds per month for these things. But in other countries, and France specifically, you have city sports. Like, I guess it could be the equivalent of the Y, maybe, but it's public. It's for the city. It's for people who live in the city. Like, if you're a resident, you have access to those services. And so, yeah, you don't pay an arm and a leg for your kid to be able to play soccer, for your kid to be able to play basketball or learn how to swim. And so, activities are a lot more affordable. But support at home, like having a nanny or somebody helping you for the cooking or the cleaning, yes, a little more affordable than in the US, but not that much. Okay, not that much. Number five, this is specifically in terms of education, in terms of our kids' education. One thing that I really liked about the French system, and of course I'm biased because that's the system I went through since childhood, is that it's very rigorous. It's very like boom, like that. And there's good and bad in that, of course. There's good and bad. However, when it comes to special needs education, that is terribly lacking support for special needs children in France. And I see it in expat groups for parents of special need kids. And the things that I guess we may take for granted here, because yes, we still find the system a little hard to navigate sometimes and complex, but at least here in the US, by law, a child with special needs has to, by law, receive services free of charge at school. That's not the case in in a lot of countries around the world. So that's something that I highly, highly appreciate being here in the US. And so in some countries, which is going to be the case in Cote d'Ivoire, the alternative is that you hire a paraprofessional or you hire a private tutor. And because it's affordable, yes, you pay out of pocket, but it's affordable. Okay. You can give your child more support because it's like one person. You hire a paraprofessional to be with your child, not your child and 10 other kids in the school, but it's for your child. It's like bodyguard. I mean, depending on the type of support your child needs, but at least it's affordable. There's this alternative and it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg. When it comes to France, getting the diagnostic, getting support in school, you have not all the schools have this support. And your child, as an international student coming in, your child might not be able to go to any school, like a public French school, because they don't speak French. So there are a lot of obstacles. First one is, okay, the language. Second one is maybe if your child has special needs. Third one is, okay, is it an international school and that is super expensive? Is it a public school, semi-private? And so there are a lot of limitations on the right kind of education that you can give to your child, specifically if they have special needs. That is a big, big problem. And now, if you're thinking, well, I'm just going to homeschool. Well, the laws are very strict as well in France when it comes to homeschooling. They were a little more laxed during the pandemic because everybody had to be home. And so a lot of parents like withdrew the kids from school and homeschool, like école à la maison. But now the government went back and we're like, you know what? We're not doing that anymore. Everybody back to school. So you need to provide a letter to show the reason why your child cannot be in school in person. And I think two of the reasons that they would accept, two of the reasons why they would accept you to do that, to homeschool, is either religious reasons or health reasons. Not because, oh, you disagree with the curriculum or because, yeah, none of the reasons that most homeschoolers here in the US use are going to fly in France. That's just not going to fly. It has to be a serious health reason and or religious reason. Other than that, no. So imagine the mom who homeschools her kids at Disney. I mean, even for US standards, that's just ridiculous. So that's not gonna fly over there. So that's another reason why it makes moving to France a little tricky because of the education system. So with all these reasons, is France out? No, France is not out. I don't think I'm ever gonna kick France out of my list because it's just so dear to my heart. I'll always keep it on the list. And I always say that if it's not now, at some point, I know we're gonna make it there at some point. It might not be this year, but I know it's like I can see it. It's gonna be there. Maybe it's gonna be spending 6 months there. Maybe it's gonna be spending 3 months there. Maybe it's gonna be spending 3 years there. I don't know, but France is gonna make it. It's gonna happen at some point. So the reasons that I just said, yes, those are, and it's not great. However, there might be some way around these and a way to make it happen. So stay tuned and see if that chapter happens sooner than I expect. All right, let me know your thoughts. Would France be on your list? Yes, no? Let me know in the comments, okay? Till next time, bye. Or should I say, à bientôt? Au revoir.